Hey guys, so in this video I'm going over lesson 5. Remember we skipped lesson 5 on Monday and we went straight to lesson 6, which was the quadratic formula. If you're having difficulties doing the quadratic formula, make sure that you go watch the song that is posted on our site and also ask questions. So for lesson 5, we are solving by completing the square. As a review, let's solve a few equations by taking the square root of both sides. It kind of gives us a review of the steps right here to isolate the square term or terms. Take the square root of both sides to get it by itself. So let's look at number 2. Number 2, the term or terms that are squared is the x squared. So what we're going to do is divide by 6, x squared equals 25. Now the variable that is squared is by itself, so we can square root it to get rid of the square. And we get x equals plus or minus 5. Remember, when you are taking out a number underneath a radical, you always put plus and minus in front of it. Now for number 3. In this case, the term that is squared is the x squared. So we're going to move everything away from it or the other side of it. So plus 12, doing the opposite of PEMDAS. Negative 12 plus 12 cancels out, left with 2x squared equals 144. The x squared is still not by itself, so we're going to divide by 2. X squared equals 72. Now that the x squared is by itself or on its own side with nothing else with it, we're going to square root it to get rid of the square. And now we're going to have to simplify the square root of 72. So what I have taught you is to do a factor tree of 72. Well, what times what gives us 72? It ends with a 2, so we know that it's an even number, so we know 2 can go into it. So 2 times 36. And then we should know 36 is 6 times 6. If you want to keep going, 2 times 3 and 2 times 3. So our prime numbers are 2, 2, 2, 3, and 3. So underneath our radical, we have 3 2's and 2 3's. So what is our index? What is our understood index? What is that small number right here? 2. So that means we're looking for groups of the same number of 2. So 2 2's, get married, move out of the house. There's 2 3's, get married, move out of the house. So we have a 2 out front, a 3 out front, and a 2 left underneath the radical. There is multiplication in between. So we have a plus or minus 6 times the square root of 2. And that is what our x equals. Now for 4. For the whole thing that is squared is our x plus 3. So this whole thing is what's squared, and it is by itself, so we are not having to move it before we take the square root of it. So taking the square root of something squared cancels out the squared part, and we're just left with x plus 3 in this case. What we do on one side, we have to do to the other. Remembering, when we take it out of the square root, we have a plus or minus. So we have plus or minus 3. So this means when we move this positive 3 over, we still have this canceled out. 3 minus 3 gives me 0. So I'm still left with x on the left side. But on the right side, I have positive 3 minus 3 and negative 3 minus 3. So I get two different answers. Positive 3 minus 3 is 0. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. So my answer is 0 and -6. So that was kind of a review from Unit 2 of solving radicals. And then we're going to get into completing the square. So I know that there are a few steps in your packet. If those steps help you, that's fine. But I also wrote my own steps. So if you want to write those down, then you can. If you want to pause the video as I go through them, that's fine as well. There it goes. So there are the other steps. But this is what we're going to work through as we go through number 1. So for number 1,